Hey everybody, welcome to the NCU, that is Nerd Culture Undisputed. I am Kyle Wright, sitting across today in the brand new studio from Mr. Adam Goff. Adam, you ready to talk about Morbius?
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Glad to be back. So far, liking the new digs, and can't wait to see what you do with it.
Yeah, I think I got some cool stuff we could do in here. I think we're talking about getting some different kinds of like backdrops and everything like that. So
Yeah, it's exciting.
So Morbius. Pushed back from January 28th to April 1st.
Right.
We're not reshoots, I think, was the reason that we were given. We've both had theories, like maybe it was pushed back due to it just bombing, or maybe they wanted to give SpiderMan more time in theaters to build up some success. But we're here today to push out maybe some other reasons that Morbius got pushed back.
Yeah, and with those reshoots, it's, are they adding? Are they subtracting? Who are they adding? And where does that lead that franchise? And does it kind of answer some questions of which universe is this existing in?
Right.
Because everybody has so many questions, just from the trailer that we've seen, where, you see the Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, and then in the trailer he mentions Venom, and so you're like, okay, well, and then you see some other stuff from the MCU in there, and it's all kind of confusing, and maybe that's part of the reasoning for the reshoots,
right?
But I would like to think that based off of the success of No Way Home and everyone kind of clamoring for some more Andrew Garfield, maybe that's the direction they're headed. So
I'm wondering, like, I wonder what directions we can go in from there. You're talking about a 2.5 month difference. So that's a lot of time, especially for professionals. So there's got to be some major stuff being added or subtracted from this movie. So Andrew Garfield is the best. That's the easiest thing to guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the people came out of No Way Home just like, all right, it's time. We want Amazing Spider-Man 3. We want more Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and we kind of want it now. And like you said in the trailer for Morbius, you get that continuity of the Oscorp building from the Amazing Spider-Man building or movies. You get the Spider-Man poster with. Interesting enough, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is the one on the poster.
Yeah, that's right.
But it says murderer written across it. Well, you call back to that scene in No Way Home, which I guess we've already spoiled it, but spoilers ahead. I mean, I guess, whatever. If you haven't seen it by now, whatever.
It's been over a month.
It's been over a month. It's kind of your fault at this point. Why are you even watching this video? And I don't think people go see Morbius before they go see Spider-Man.
Probably not.
Probably not. But anyway, you hear Andrew Garfield talk about he stopped pulling punches in that movie. So maybe like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man goes through a really dark stage where he kills somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to see that character go that direction, just because it's not only not the Spider-Man that we know and love, it's not the Peter Parker that we know and love.
Right.
So maybe it's more of a J. Jonah Jameson thing, calling him a murderer and things.
Yeah.
So that maybe that's what they're discussing there when they're calling him a murderer. Maybe that's where that's coming from. But I would hate to see that character go that way. I feel like that would be a DC thing for them to do. And
DC.
Yeah,
we got a separate bone to pick with you since our last recording.
Right. So, anyways, no. So I mean, adding Andrew Garfield, if that's the way that they're doing it, and that's the reason for another delay, because this is what the third delay we've had. I know COVID and everything else happening.
I think Morbius was supposed to come out before No Way Home.
I think so too. Yeah.
And so was Doctor Strange, technically.
Right. But it's if this is the reason that they're doing it, I'm fine with it. It gives us what we want. And Andrew Garfield's gone on the record and said that he's more than willing and interested to do it, but it has to be the right storyline.
Yeah.
And he wants to do it justice, and I think everybody wants to see Andrew Garfield's version have, his moment, because I mean we got Green Goblin ish
Oh man.
in
Oh,
two, so
so
and then
bad.
the mechanical rhino, which they made fun of in
Yeah.
the movie too. So, but yeah, I would like to think that that's the reason that they're delaying it, and maybe there's some truth to the rumors of it didn't do well in the showings, and so maybe it's a little bit of both. We'll see.
Maybe. I mean, I think in this day and age, you have to have some fan service. I mean, especially as far as we've gotten into even the Sonyverse, like having Venom now, knowing Carnage is out there. I mean, that symbiote's still there, right? Just because Cletus Cassidy's dead, the Carnage symbiote could still be out there somewhere.
Yeah, and I would love to see them, like we talked about, before. I think we said it during the No Way Home one. I would like to see a non-dumbed down version of Carnage and do him justice.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Morbius. I like Jared Leto, and I feel like he's a phenomenal actor, and the trailer looks great. I like that they're keeping it grounded to a certain degree, but at the same time, it still looks like it should be in the Amazing Spider-Man world, and I'm all here for it.
I am too, man. I think it's time. I think it's time for some continuity in the Sony verse.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're gonna have a separate Spider-Man universe, which I think that we're all accepting to. I mean, I think pretty much everybody understands like this universe is Sony, this universe is Marvel. So like if we're gonna have two Spider-Man going on at the same time, then I think that we're grown up enough to understand that they're not in the same universe.
Right. Well, and don't forget the Miles Morales, the cartoon version of that Spider-Man. I know it's a cartoon, but I mean, there's room for plenty. I mean, there's a ton of different Spider-Man out there and all across the universes, and everybody kind of has their own little favorite. Whether it's his clone or whether it's Miles Morales or whether it's Spider-Man 2099, which that's a lot of people's favorite. So
yeah, I like him.
Which I think we're going to see in the newest Spider-Man.
We get him in the new Spider-Verse movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to talk about that movie for a second because that movie is like probably more important now than you ever could have imagined. Like
as it relates to the MCU or just in general?
Just in general. Like, because I mean that's what the first one is what opened the gate for all this to become possible. Because that movie came out and people were like, "Let's get this live action."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right on. I think you're right on that one. And again, it goes back to my previous point: was there's a ton of Spider-Man out there, and it's okay to have more than one Peter Parker. It's okay to have a Sonyverse. It's okay to have an MCU. Just do it right. Mm-hmm. Let's not rush it. Let's not make let's not make it anything other than about this character arc and doing right by everyone that's involved. And so far MCU with with its version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man done a hell of a job.
It's ballin'.
They've done a hell of a job, and I really wish Kevin Feige had taken the reins of the Sony version with Andrew Garfield when they asked him to.
Yeah,
but Sony didn't want to fork over that cheddar.
They're starting to see that money now, though, and they're like,
right,
damn,
right,
we could have two of these.
But I mean, they went to Kevin Feige before ASM2 and said, "Hey, we need help with this story," and he's like, "Well, give us some of the profits." And they're like, "No, we can't do that." It's like, "Okay, so you want me to work for you, but you don't want to pay me?"
Right?
Come on, man.
Where would we be? Because it wasn't like I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in 2014, so it wasn't 2 years later when we got our first Peter Parker appearance in Civil War. In the MCU, maybe that movie was like they bombed so bad that they were like, "All right, here, Marvel, let's work together."
I mean, they saw the writing on the wall, right? Because ASM2 was supposed to set up the Sinister Six, if you remember.
Yeah,
post-credit scene. That was supposed to be the big thing. Was okay. Oh my God, we're gonna get a Doc Ock. We're gonna get we have the Lizard. We're gonna get a Vulture because you saw the wings.
Yep.
And then. One of the Easter eggs is, Harry's going through that whole thing on his desk or whatever, and you see, like, the Venom symbiote, was part of that whole situation. So you saw the way it was developing, but it's just, unfortunately, the way that they packaged that whole thing together in ASM2, it just bombed, and that, I think that was the last straw for Sony, where they were like, look, we asked them for help, they didn't want to do it because we didn't want to pay them. Now we need help.
Yep. And now here we go. I mean, they took the help, and now we want more.
Right.
Andrew Garfield.
Right.
So.
I mean, who doesn't?
You'd be an idiot not to. I think there's some people out there that hated those movies so much that they don't want to admit it. But to not want Andrew Garfield after No Way Home, like to just want more of that character, because I think we've agreed in the past that like everybody's special, like Tobey Maguire, great, Tom Holland, incredible. But I don't think anybody really relished that role like Andrew Garfield.
No. He's my favorite Peter Parker.
Yeah. He really is the best one.
Yeah, I mean, hands down. I mean, and I like his story arc as Peter Parker in those two movies. You know, the way Ben was murdered and how what his influence on that was.
Yep.
You know, the whole arc with his dad, you know, and finding the train station in 2 and all that stuff. And, you know, the way he emotes, it's like you feel for him. And then, of course, you know, Emma Stone, which, you know, God love her, please, Spider-Gwen, let's go.
Yeah, hopefully, like, what that does is, like, she wasn't there when Goblin showed up now. Like, since Electro, like, if they were taken from that exact moment, maybe she was sent off beforehand, and, like, maybe she's still alive. We get us a Spider-Gwen.
I mean, even if she comes from a different universe, though, where Peter was killed, because, I mean, in the comics, Spider-Gwen came from a place where Peter was killed. I mean,
yeah.
And, you know, she kind of took over that mantle. So, yeah, give me some Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. I'm down.
Love it.
But, you know, I think with Andrew Garfield potentially being in the Morbius movie, I mean, it can only help things, right? I mean, I don't think there's a negative aspect to that.
I don't think so. No. I mean, it's only going to make money. I mean, look at it from a non-fan perspective. It's just going to make money.
Yeah, I mean, we were already going to go see Morbius.
Yeah.
Whether he was in it or not.
Right.
You put him in it. Now, what does that do for all these MCU buddies out here that, you know, maybe had either forgotten about or hadn't been privy to or didn't even care about the Sonyverse? Now are they going to care about it? I think so.
I think so. I mean, and you know what? You put stuff like that in it where people want to go see it again in theaters. That's where your money comes from. You have the moments that people want to see again on the big screen. And that's what you're here for.
Yeah. So tell me about Morbius in this movie. Is he the anti-villain? Is he bad guy? Is he good guy?
It's hard to tell from the trailer, but it looks like it's going to follow a very Venomy, or like a mixture of Venom and Doctor Strange in a way. So yeah, anti-hero, where we know obviously Doctor Strange isn't a hero, but he's a doctor and he has a major setback with his health. Mm-hmm. And there's your Doctor Strange tie. Ass. Yeah. There's your Doctor Strange tie, and then he ends up getting this thing into his body, which we see in the movie comes from I don't know what directly happens, but he gets swarmed by vampires, and it happens in the trailer.
Bats.
Swarmed by bats, vampire bats, I should say.
Right.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, hey, have at it. Yeah, so, I mean, you see him talking to people and joking with people like, I'm Venom. No, hey, it's just me, Michael Morbius. And then in the next scene, you know, they're opening fire on him.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and he's got the evil face, which looks really, really good, by the way.
It does
look
good.
Really well done.
It does look good.
You know, it wasn't hokey or anything like that as far as, you know, what they showed in the trailer. So, you know, I'm anxious to see where his role lies. Are we bleeding into the MCU because Vulture's there, or is this just
that's the most interesting part of this,
right?
I mean, we haven't confirmed who he is, right? Obviously, they never said that he is Vulture in the trailer or anything like that, but it's Michael Keaton. It's
right. So, but if he is Vulture in this, then it has to be set in the MCU because his character only became the Vulture because of all the Chitauri parts and everything else that were left over after Avengers.
Yep.
So, I mean, if he is Vulture, and it looks like he's locked up to me, it looks like they're loading him from the paddy wagon, if you will. So if he is locked up and if he is the Vulture, I'm sorry, but doesn't Morbius have to be in the MCU? That's where I'm confused.
Yeah, it's a very weird situation. Maybe, damn, it's hard to tell from the trailers. Would make you think. Like, okay, so Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on screen, but with Oscorp being in the trailer, Norman Osborn in No Way Home says Oscorp there's no Oscorp here. My company doesn't exist.
Right.
So
again, blurred lines.
I don't know. I don't know. Sony's like they're above DC, but they're not far from them.
Right.
And
again, maybe that's where the reshoots come in, like we talked about earlier, and maybe that they squash some of that. I hope they don't maybe delete all of that, but maybe explain it a little bit better.
You gotta have somewhat of an explanation for it,
right,
in the movie,
right?
Not like a post-credit scene. If it's a post-credit scene, it's gonna be shit.
Yeah, I mean, because you've already released it,
right?
Which if Sony wanted to take anything, from the MCU,
I've been burping the whole video.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they want to take anything from the MCU, it's how many trailers has the MCU put out? And we're like, oh, look at that scene. And then it's completely different in the movie.
Yeah, or it's not in the movie.
Or it's not in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like if Infinity War, when Hulk is rushing with,
Yep.
Black Widow and Cap in the jungles of Wakanda. And then it's like, well, wait a second, there is no Hulk anymore.
What's funny is that was on all the promo art too.
Yeah.
And they kept that secret.
Right. And of course, with No Way Home, they had, the screenshot of, Lizard and Sandman and Electro, and only little Tom Holland.
Yep.
Right there to face off all three of them.
Yep.
And it was like, whoa, something's missing here.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully Sony's learned something from that. And then maybe they're just trying to pick up some intrigue. I don't know. I'm curious.
I don't know.
Now we got to wait 2 more months.
Now we'll see on April 1st.
Right.
All right. Well, hey guys, we're gonna get out of here. Be looking out for more content. If any news comes out, we'll be jumping all over that bandwagon for sure. And just make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a follow. Hit that notification bell so you get notifications. And we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.